Okay, this section here is completely optional, and maybe it's a bit advanced, but I'm just gonna mention it here quickly in just a couple of minutes. If you find it a bit challenging or you couldn't get the idea because it handles subnetting into an advanced level, it's okay. You can completely forget about it. It's not really that important at this stage, but the reason why I am mentioning it right now is because through the material and through many Cisco resources, it has been used. So you probably, if you're going through materials of Cisco and stuff, especially the Cisco Press material, you will be seeing what I'm trying to describe in here. So what I'm gonna talk here about something called network summarization. Network summarization. So what is network summarization? You see this router here, which is router 2, in order to reach 192.168.1.0, you need to enter a route for this network. And also in order to reach 192.168.2.0, this network below, you need to enter a route for this network. It will result on two entries separately configured on this router for these two networks. This could be okay because these are only two networks. But what if this router here had multiple networks behind and only one way to reach these networks? You'll have to re-enter each one for each network, which is probably some lot of work to do. We have something called network summarization, which means you can enter like one line which include multiple networks that are represented or found at this router. This saves you time and configuration lines in your router. For example, in my example here, I have 192.168.1.0 and I have 192.168.2.0. So actually, I can use an address in my routing table that represents these two networks together in one shot, saving me time and saving lines in the routing table. So I'm just gonna show you this example, and I hope you can follow me in. If not, and you find it like confusing, it's okay. Maybe you need to go through subnetting and advanced subnetting and summarization examples, research for it, and they are available in the material. However, they are not required for you into becoming CCNA or CCNA certified. I'm just adding this section as optional advanced point. So let's see the current routing table. So right now I have 192.1 and 192.2 into separate lines like this. So what I'm gonna do is that I will delete these entries from my routing table and I will re-enter these routes again into the routing table in one line using what we called a summarized super address for these two networks and saving the line. So here is what I'm gonna do. No IP route 192.168.1.0. I probably need to, okay. And let's remove the two. So I remove these routes and let's check the IP route table. As you can see, they are gone. All entries related to 1 and 2 from this router, router 2 here, are gone completely. And this router is no longer able to reach any of these networks. So how can I do a summary super route? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tell this router here that you can reach 192.168. However, here is a trick. I'm gonna use a summarized address like this. Now, this could be confusing for you for a little. However, I'm gonna try my best to tell you what it's made of. So right now, I'm gonna tell my router that you can reach these two networks through the path of the upper path, which is through this one, and with the cost we discussed in the previous section, which is cost of 10, like this. And I'm gonna add the other route, which is through below path, like this. Remember this mask, and I'm gonna describe it for you in a moment. and through 9. However, the below or the secondary pass has a higher cost of 20, like this. So what is this all about? Now, checking the routing table here, as you can see, I can reach this strange network here, which is 192.168.0.0/22, or this mask I just entered, which is 255.255.252. So what is this? Let me describe it for you here quickly. So right now, I told my router about this network, which is 00, and I give it the mask of 255.255.252.0. So what does this represent exactly? This represents like this. Same as I did here. What is the first usable IP here? The first here, let's type in the network ID, which is this network. This is the ID of the network, which cannot be used. So what is the first usable IP? The first usable IP here is 1.0, like this, for example. First IP can be used. And what is the last usable IP? The last usable IP here, this here, which is 252, is a four-sized network, which is mean 0, 1, 2, 3, which is this is house. So the last IP used in here will be look like this. So, and the broadcast for this network will be 192.168.3.255, which will be the broadcast of this network. Now, I know this is kind of confusing, so ID here, first IP 01, second IP 02, 03, 04, 05, and then this octet flips and become 1 and 1 1 1 2 1 2, and then flips 2 to 1 2, and then flips 3 3 1 3 2, and so on, like this. Now, when I entered in my routing table here, and I told my router about this network with this subnet goes to 10.1.1.1, my router here, for any kind of network that will go to any IP from 192.168.0.1 up till 192.168.3.254, take this path and reach here. What you will notice is that these two networks here are within range of this identification, which is 192.168.110. Yes, it's in the range here. It falls between 01 here and 3. And about 162.1.2.10, it falls in the same range. It's somewhere between 01 up till 3.20.254. So basically, I put this network in the range of this subnetting to enter just one line in the configuration. It's like supernetting, entering one line that covers multiple networks. This line here will cover any networks that reside between 192.168.0.1 up till 3.254. And let's test the ping here to see if everything is working normally. Let's go to the ping here and ping from this PC on the right, PC1, into PC, and send the ping to 192.168.110 into this other destination, and wait. And now the ping is working, as you can see, and I am using the upper link, as you can see, same as we did before, because this one has the lowest cost of 10. As you can see here, this one has a cost of 10, like this. If I go in and turn off this port, which is Ethernet 110, so I go in like this, and I turn off the port like this, and shut down the port. Go back to the PC. Yeah, because it's not configured correctly from the other side, the ping is failing. If I repeat the configuration on the other router, it will flow back, because right now there is a problem from the configuration from this one. But this one here is okay, and actually I can confirm by this. I can go show IP route. Okay, it is not here for some reason. Maybe I misconfigured it. Show run. Let me see the configuration line. Oh yeah, here is a mistake. The next hop here I entered incorrectly. It's supposed to be 6. Let's fix it. So let's take this line like this. As you can see, the human error is a problem when you deal with static manual routing. This is just like an example like this. So let's remove this and re-enter the correct line. 25220, and the next hop is this one. This one's correct, because this is my neighbor, the one I send to the traffic. I do not send directly to this one. I do not see this one. This is my neighbor. I send the packet to my neighbors, which is 6, and with a higher cost of 20, like this. So now I can reach through below router like this. And this one now appears with the highest cost, same we did in the previous example. And the ping now is back alive through the below pass. As you can see, it's flashing through below. Let's turn on the port, which we disabled. I think this port is 1, 0. Yeah. And turn it back. Once you turn back this port, the routing table changes and return. And as you can see, it's returned the load path, and the ping is now flashing from the upper one, as you can see. So as you saw, I can do a summarized address that holds a group of networks at a certain router in one line, instead of having to enter each network separately, each in a line. Sometimes this is becoming an overload job to do, especially if I'm entering like 10, 20, 30 networks in one. I can summarize them in a subnet. And the condition or requirement here that the subnet I enter and the network must cover all of the networks I need to put. If I can cover them in 1, 2 lines, this is called summarization or subnet or supernetting. This section, as I mentioned, is like an optional advanced point in subnetting, but I had to add it because of 2 reasons. First, you're probably gonna see this in the material if you go through CCNA routing for the examination, and also when we deal with some advanced setting in the router, sometimes the router automatically does this. Sometimes the router does automatic summarization. So I just added this section. So enough about this advanced point. It's completely optional for you, where you like to use it or not. If you find this a bit confusing, you can stick with using 1 line per network. This is actually okay and no problem about it. But for now, we're gonna move on. In the next section, we will be using dynamic automatic routing protocol. So let's move on.